Good morning on this beautiful day here in Switzerland. It's beautiful now. It was raining this morning, but the sun is out, and I thought, let's just take a moment. Let me just take a moment to go and sit outside, enjoy listening to the birds and the cowbells. I can hear them, and just sit and enjoy a few minutes of quiet. And as I was doing that, I thought, well, this is something I could share about, because this is something I've learned to do. It's not something that I did naturally, let's put it that way. So last week, or a couple of weeks ago, I shared a little bit about my journey and how I had postnatal depression quite severely after having my children. And I thought, at that time I had completely lost myself. I had no sense of identity. I didn't know who I was. I knew I was a wife to my husband. I knew I was a mother to my children. But I didn't identify with those, and I just didn't know who I was, who I really was. Who was Anne? I had no clue. And when you've got a baby, if you've had a baby, life is so busy, you don't have time to stop and think. And as I was thinking about this, I also thought about another time in my life where I had no idea who I was. And that was when we moved from Africa back to Switzerland. So my parents worked overseas and I grew up in Africa. And when I was 13, we moved back to Switzerland. And it was a very difficult time of, being uprooted. That's really what it felt like, feeling uprooted from one culture and plonked into another culture. And I remember as a teenager thinking, who on earth am I? And there's no pun intended, but who on earth am I? And back then, I didn't really have tools. When I had postnatal depression, I didn't really have tools either until I saw a counselor who started me on the journey of self-discovery and learning who I was. And one of the key things that I learned in those moments of utter despair and of this sensation of having completely lost myself was to learn to stop, to learn to take what I called mummy time, to defend mummy time, to fight for mummy time. And mummy time might be different for every person. Me time, you can call it if you're not a mum, but me time. If you're struggling with this sense of who am I? Who are you? You can find these answers when you take time for yourself, when you take time to stop and breathe and reflect and rediscover things that you enjoy doing for the sake of doing them. And that answer to that is different for everyone. But to find those answers, you need to look after yourself. So I just wanted to sit down today here outside as I sit here and just enjoy these moments before my kids come home for lunch, to encourage you, if that's you today, then just start to think about how you can create some time to look after yourself and to rediscover who you are and who you want to be. Have a lovely day. Bye.